fucking go. How you been, brother?
You know, I got up this morning and for whatever reason, it's 48 degrees in February in Wisconsin.
We've seen 80 in February, if you remember, about 5, 6 years ago.
Well, it never got up to like 80. I think it got up to like the mid 70s.
Oh, I'm thinking like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there was like 2 days that got up to like almost 80 degrees. But yeah.
Well, no, I remember because me and old brother Cholo, we rode out to Mama Tried.
Ah, no shit.
Yep. It was the first year Mama Tried was in Milwaukee, and me and Cholo fucking rode out there.
Boy,
We couldn't believe it. We were like, here it is, mid-February, and we're out fucking riding motorcycles.
that Mama Tried is really turning into a pretty big deal, man.
Yeah, but it's getting kind of commercial, and it's kind of losing its, its roots. Some people would say, and I get it. I mean, that's what happens. The hipsters fucking start flocking to it, and then all the yuppies start going to it. All the guys with street glides and fucking designer jeans start showing up, talking about, that's pretty cool. I don't see how you would ride it though, because it doesn't have blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point.
I was going to real quick though. The hipsters fucked up PBR too. So just go ahead, man.
They fucked up. They fuck up everything.
Yeah, they do. All right. So your point.
So I woke up this morning in one of them moods where I had to go shoot guns. Don't know why. Just I'm like, you know what? It's been
You need a reason?
bit. I haven't shot guns in a while. It's warm outside. I'm going to the range. So I go to Yellowstone. No, not
nice.
that Yellowstone. I go to Yellowstone, West Side. By the way, I don't know how many Yellowstone fucking campgrounds there are in Wisconsin, but there's more than one.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably the same deal going on in every other state. So
Yeah, that one's a state park, though.
Yeah.
That's a cool place. I like that. That's a good range.
Cool.
A good
west
range,
side,
too.
yeah, on the west side of Wisconsin's super hilly, and it's almost a whole different state. That whole Mississippi Valley area.
Oh no shit! If you are not kidding. All that south and north of Wisconsin River, but yeah. So anyway,
yeah. So I get there, and it's a free range, meaning you don't have to pay. There's no range. There's no
nobody's
range
there
guy or anything. It's just show up, shoot guns. Right?
Yeah, it's anarchy, man. I love it.
You would think so.
What happened?
So I try to get there as early as possible to get away from the yuppies and the hipsters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the yuppies, they show up with these high-end guns and they do not know what to fucking do with them. Last time I was there, I'm watching a guy with literally an AR with a 20 power or a 28 power scope. Like, it was this fucking big. Like, you could see like craters on the moon with this goddamn thing. And he's trying to sight in his AR-15 in a 50-yard range.
What?
Yeah. Why do you have a 28x scope and you're trying to get a 50-yard zero? Made no sense. And his kid had a fucking it's like an AK pistol.
Mm-hmm.
I forget. It's got a Drago. So an AK, short barrel, no buttstock whatsoever. This guy's not even aiming. This guy is shooting everything but the fucking target. If you want to fucking be safe from this guy shooting, just stand in front of him because he ain't gonna hit you. That's the last time. This time I get there, and the pistol section, the 5-yard range or whatever you want to call it, where your target's 5 yards away and you're shooting handguns. That's full. That's packed with all the husbands with their wives, and they just picked up their new Glock or SIG or whatever, and they're, exercising their Second Amendment rights. All right, cool. I'm going to let you guys have at it at the OK Corral, where you guys are just going to be mag dumping in the fucking paper. I'm going to go over here and do some serious type shit, where I kind of, just, shooting's a perishable skill. So, you want to, just go through the motions. So, you know, if you ever have to, God forbid, you at least it's muscle memory, right?
Muscle memory. Yeah, just
Muscle
like
memory.
riding. Just like
Yep.
riding.
Get your breathing, get everything, just, you know what I mean? I don't even get through my first magazine and a father and son show up. And they plant their ass right next to me. And what I mean right next to me, like this would be me touching them.
There's probably
Right
seven slots in each of those places.
Yep. Anyways, this guy breaks out his hunting rifle, I assume. It's a 308 bolt action with, and I looked just to be sure, a 9 to 20x scope. I'm at the 50-yard range just working my red dot. Like, I'm not, you know, just as long as they're in the A zone and I can, you know, puff out a couple, you know, do a little, you know.
The practical place, yeah.
Right. I'm just, you know, reds, you know, just if they're in the A zone, if they're in the neighborhood, I'm looking through a red dot, no magnification. Hey, I'm good to go. 50 yards, perfect. This guy's sighting in a 308 with a 20x scope at 50 yards, trying to get a 50-yard zero. I'm like, why is it that every time I show up here, some retard trying to fucking sight in his fucking high power rifle or whatever fucking rifle with a scope that's way too goddamn big at 50 goddamn yards? Whatever, right? That's fine. So I'm going through my other mag. I'm kind of like, all right, you know, I think I'm a little low here. I'm a little low there. Next thing I know, a super fucking loud bang goes off. And it knocked my hat off. And it made my ears ring, even though I had earplugs in. This asshole broke out a bolt action 50 BMG fucking rifle.
He didn't even warn you.
Never even knew he had it.
The blow-by on those things is unfucking real.
It took my hat off.
It took your hat off, yeah. I mean,
like, and when I say he was this far away, so I could touch the guy that's shooting off a 50 BMG bolt action. It wasn't a Barrett, it was another type of 50 BMG. Right here. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? And like look at me and laugh and go, man, that thing's got some kick. No shit, Sherlock. It's an anti-air. Why do you have a smaller scope on your 50 BMG than you do your 308? And why are you trying to sight these fuckers in at 50 yards? There's a 100-yard range right over there.
Right over there, yeah.
And even that, I mean, 100 yards.
That's still too close.
Well, 100 yards is a pretty good zero for hunting. Because you know,
oh, yeah. I used to
most people, you're not going to be taking shots past 300, really. I mean, maybe if you're in like Wyoming or someplace where you can see that.
Yeah, but not in Wisconsin.
You're not going to get a clear line of sight that fucking.
No.
You're going to see trees and shit.
Yeah.
So, but 100-yard zero is pretty goddamn good for anything with a scope that's got any kind of a power past 3. You know what I mean? But this guy's sighting in a 50 BMG with a relatively smaller scope. I think it was like a 10 power or whatever at 50 yards. It's a 50 BMG. It's an anti-aircraft fucking round.
Boy,
guys have made 1 mile yard, 1 mile kill shots with these fucking things, and you're sighting it in at 50 yards.
Next to me.
Right next to people.
Without even a warning. Hey, man, I'm going to be breaking this out. You might want to watch out for the blow-by that's going to come by. And
not to mention the fucking douchebags at the other end that have airsoft fucking optics on their Anderson Arms fucking AR-15s. Them motherfuckers are hitting everything but the goddamn target. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna get shot by one of these motherfuckers.
Wow.
But that's what you get when you go to a public range.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That floors me, man. But you can't fix stupid.
No, you can't. And America and whatever.
I guess that's the downside to the Second Amendment, you know?
Yeah,
any asshole can own a gun.
And they all do.
Yeah.
So.
So you had an interesting morning.
It's unreal.
This summer we'll have to go out to my buddy's place. He's got his own shooting range set up.
That's the way to go, man. Farms and whatever, man. That way you're not dealing with, John, who went out and bought his first rifle at the age of 45, but he's going to pretend like he knows what the fuck he's doing, and he's not going to have any fucking idea.
Yeah.
I remember when the pandemic took off, and I would go to like another range, and a guy would literally go from a gun shop to the range and try shooting it, which is fine. But God damn it, man, at least watch a video or something. I mean, if you're asking me how to load it, you fucked up, man. Like, dude, really? Come on.
In Deerfield, you can buy it upstairs and then go downstairs and shoot it.
And they go with you. They show you.
That's the place is owned by cops. I mean, you're in good hands there. That's for darn sure.
Former cops, yeah.
Well, one cop is a cop is a cop. Once a cop, always.
Well,
a cop.
yeah, I know, dude. It's anyways, but brings me up to the topic at hand.
Aha.
Old, what is her name? Marina Van Zeller or whatever.
Yeah,
she did that Nat Geo fucking special on motorcycle clubs last year. Got everybody all hot and hot.
Oh boy, all sorts of commotion. They tried to get us involved in that.
Yeah.
But we didn't take the bait.
Well, I mean, we did to a certain extent. I mean, we talked about it, and
we didn't choose
obviously, maybe we're beating a dead horse, but if you've seen that episode of it's like Trafficked or whatever on Nat Geo, if you've been around motorcycle clubs for a half a second or know anything about anything in the MC world, what she said was 100% bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, none of it was like remotely fucking true.
Mm-mm.
So, with that being said, she was on Joe Rogan last week promoting the next season. Now, she didn't get back into motorcycle clubs, but she did talk about the motorcycle club episode that she did last year. And she was like, well, what we found out is that in the motorcycle club world, there's 1%ers, and those are the bad guys. Reason being is they're outlaws. Now, her evidence of them being outlaws was the fact that they said they were 1%ers. Okay. Now, she said, yeah, I talked to a club in LA and they were very cordial, but you could tell they were keeping things from me. No shit, Sherlock.
You think?
You think? Then she talked about interviewing another club at Sturgis. Right? We all saw the episode. Her number one scare, her number one complaint about that interview was that it was in the height of COVID and nobody was wearing a mask. So you mean to tell me you go to a 1%ers compound, beautiful fucking clubhouse area they had set up. Oh, it's beautiful. It's something to envy. Anyways, and your biggest fear was COVID, and yet you're doing a whole fucking episode on how dangerous these motherfuckers are.
Yeah.
Interesting. And if you remember that episode, later on, she talks to a guy, and she mentions this last week on Joe Rogan, that he showed us what actually goes on. And here it is, a guy with his fucking face blurred, wearing obviously a one-piece bullshit patch that they blurred out. All new leathers, all new bikes, all new blue jeans, the whole shebang. And he starts talking about how, well, we got this abandoned house here in the desert and people leave guns and drugs in this box and yada, yada, yada. This is how it works. And she's like, on Joe Rogan last week. So, yeah, we now know how they operate. And we talked to undercover cops and they told us all sorts of things that are 100% true that happened 30 years ago. It's like, and here's Joe Rogan. This fucking guy is praising her up and down about being this great investigative, journalist. And it's like, we didn't even get it right.
Yeah.
You talked to 2 1%er clubs. You couldn't get anything there. So you basically made shit up.
Yeah.
Now, maybe she didn't make shit up, but she found somebody that would give her the narrative that she wanted, put him on TV and said, yep, that guy's 100% legit.
Well, she was driving around with a fucking cop in one of the scenes. Like, oh, you're going to get the straight skinny from them driving around with a cop. Sure.
Oh, yeah, that cop's not biased in one way.
No.
No. And the fact that he wasn't arresting anybody means they weren't committing fucking crimes. So how dangerous are these guys again?
Well, you know, the whole thing is too, is that people, they don't understand what they don't understand about this culture is you could be friends with a patched member. You could know this guy for 30 fucking years. But you think you know because you've known this guy in that club for so long that you know club business. You know shit.
Yeah.
You know shit. I don't care who you are.
I mean, we're not in a 1% club, and there's shit that I won't talk about with anybody else but a goddamn club member.
Oh, yeah.
Girlfriends, wives, best friends,
Mm-hmm.
sisters, cousins, none of it gets discussed outside of the club.
Why would it?
It's not even illegal. It's just club shit.
Club shit. Yeah. Nobody needs to know our
Shit that has
business.
to do with us. There's a code of silence.
Yeah.
You know, that's why motorcycle clubs, we guard our fucking shit. So, because all a motorcycle club is a group of men, typically, that have a bond. And we say, all right, we're going to be down for each other and only us. And at the end of the fucking day, at least we have each other. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's why the brotherhood's so coveted. It's because we're always going to be down for each other. Doesn't matter how pissed off I am at you. You spilt fucking beer on the couch. You fucking owe me $20 fucking dollars. You had the last piece of pizza. If shit goes sideways in a bar, I have your back no matter what. You know? And
Yeah,
that's why and that's it. That's all an MC is. I don't care, 1%er, mom and pop, whatever.
That is the similarities, that's for sure. Some are a little more less off the cuff, I should say, than others.
What do you mean?
Meaning that some of them talk about their shit and put their shit out there, via vis-a-vis social media these days. More so now, I think it's more prevalent now. I don't think they're realizing they're doing it because they're trying to look like something.
And they're trying to promote their club, and they're trying to get new members, and they're trying to, and that's fine. Not to get too deep into the weeds, but whenever I see a motorcycle club doing something that's uncharacteristic of a motorcycle club or isn't exactly protocol for a typical motorcycle club, I always just throw my hands and go, not my circus, not my monkey. They can do whatever the fuck they want over there. I don't give a shit. They want to patch in these types of people, and they want to send those types of people out to parties and do their hey, you know what? Not my circus, not my monkey. I don't give a fuck.
Well, you know, Sun Tzu famously said, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have a book in front of me, but when your opponent is making mistakes, never interrupt them.
Nope.
And I'm not saying that every motorcycle is opposed to everybody else in the fact that they're opponent, but because we are a close brotherhood, it lends itself to such a notion.
Well, at the basic level, we're at least in competition for new membership.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Because every motorcycle club wants to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only so many fucking people that are worthy of your patch. Chances are, if they're worthy of your patch, they're going to be worthy of somebody else's patch. Mm-hmm. So everybody wants to bring in that righteous dude, and they're going to make themselves sound as best they can so they can attract new membership. Yeah. So at that point, if I see a club that's doing things that are questionable, I'm not going to say a fucking word.
No.
And if people can't fucking see it, then they can't fucking see it. Then what difference does it make to me anyways? As long as we don't emulate what they're doing or do whatever, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know? And back on that Maria, whatever the fuck her name is.
Marina.
Yeah. Like she was talking about ghost guns.
And
it's like, she didn't even know what the fuck, she didn't even know how to describe what they are. And you did a special on them, and you're supposed to be this high-end fucking, I mean, that should tell you this bitch does not know what she's talking about. So, like, she's talking to Joe Rogan. She's like, a ghost gun. The only thing she said I actually agreed with about the topic, she goes, any gun can be a ghost gun. Because a ghost gun is basically just an untraceable firearm. So if you were to take a gun, take all the serial numbers off, it's now a ghost gun. Because you can't track where it came from, who it belonged to, and all this bullshit, right? But then she started talking about 80% kits. And she basically described the exact opposite of an 80% kit as what an 80% kit is. you know, and all the, you know what, here for the people on YouTube right now, okay, who might not know what an 80% fucking lower is, right? I'll show you. Basically this, minus the trigger, minus all the parts. Now you would get this piece of plastic and they would tell you, hey, if you drill here and you do this and you do that, and you start putting like a trigger and other stuff in it, you just turn it into a gun. Now, the fact that they sold it to you when it wasn't a functional gun means you don't have to, it doesn't have a serial number. That means it's not an FFA item. That means they can sell it to whoever and whatever. Now, if somebody takes it and they do whatever modifications to make it a gun, well, that's not on 80% Arms. Shout out 80% Arms, looking for a sponsorship. Looking for a sponsorship. 80% Arms. If you're watching,
and the fleshlight people, we're not giving up on you.
Yeah, fleshlight, 80% Arms. We know you're watching. Get at your boys. Anyways. But she was like, oh, it's basically everything but the lower. Bitch, 80% Arms is nothing but fucking non-lower lowers. That's all they sell.
Easy, brother. Easy now. Hold on here.
Because like things like this, the slide and the barrel, right?
The meat and potatoes
they're
end
not,
of it. Yeah.
They're not covered under the ATF. They don't have to have serial numbers. You can just buy these all day long on the internet. No background check required because all it is a chunk of metal.
Yeah, you can make your own gun basically. And
exactly, it's the lower end that makes a gun a gun. That's the only part that has to be, you know, serialized. And she even got that wrong. It's like, God damn it. And you're supposed to be this great fucking journalist. You're supposed to be this investigative supporter or a reporter. And it's like, I wouldn't care if you weren't talking about motorcycle clubs in a negative fucking way. I don't give a shit. You want to talk shit about Mexican cartels? Hey, man, more power to you. I don't give a shit. I don't know anybody in the Mexican cartel. You know what? I don't know how the cocaine fucking industry works in Bolivia, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
But, you know, you got to remember, she's part of the media, and the media has gotten guns wrong for decades. You know, they talk about AR-15s, and how many times have you heard somebody in the media say that it's an automatic? Oh, it's automatic.
Oh, no, my favorite is semi or full semi-auto.
Yeah, full perfect. AR. Oh, it stands for automatic rifle. No, it stands for Armalite rifle. But yeah, I mean, you know, they can't even get that right. I remember looking at a picture of Dianne Feinstein a couple of years back, right? She's that, you know, that dumbass senator from California, and she's holding an AR
that down there,
in her hand, right? She's showing reporters with her finger on the trigger. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so this is what you're playing with. I mean, Marina, she's part of that, you know? I mean, part of that that lamestream media.
It's that clickbait fucking shock and awe, scare the soccer moms and the fucking all the assholes that work in fucking cubicles and yada yada yada. And oh my god, we gotta get these things off the street. Oh my god, I can't believe it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then talking about 3D printers are a way to go. In order for you to have a 3D printed gun, which by the way, you can absolutely do. There are programs out there. And by the way, you are constitutionally protected to make your own firearm.
Yeah,
you can make your own firearm. You can't sell it. You can't give it to anybody, but you can make your own gun.
That has been adjudicated already. Yes, that is gone to court.
You can make your own firearm. You just can't. It's got to be yours, and you can never sell it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's unregistered and it's homemade, but you can do it. And it's like, yeah, you can make a 3D printed gun, but it's not going to work very well. Because in order to get the 3D printer you would have to have a 3D printer that could 3D print material that would be strong enough to be a gun. And let's be honest, most 3D printers, especially what most people fucking have, they can't use material that is worthy of a gun. Because we all see, you can go on YouTube right now and see 3D printed guns, and they work for a little bit and then they break. Why? Because they're using cheaper plastics than what, say, it's not a polymer like a Glock. You're basically making a novelty item
Well, and let's face it. I mean, there's a big difference between machined, machined tolerances versus what a 3D printer can put out.
Right. And 3D printers, I mean, they're getting better and better every day.
Yes, they are.
If you can afford a 3D printer that can make a gun, chances are you can just afford the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not going to be some gangbanger in the south side of Chicago with this magic machine that just makes magic guns.
Yeah.
You're not that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would you go through the hassle when you can just buy them illegally?
Yeah.
From people who get them illegally.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens, what was it, a year or two ago? There was some soldier in Kentucky that was stealing actual M4s,
Mm-hmm.
like the actual fucking assault rifle that
Yep.
they claim an AR-15 is. It looks like it kind of smells like it, but it really isn't the same goddamn thing. He was actually taking them, stealing them, and shipping them up to Chicago. So you can put whatever law in the book you want. That guy broke a shit ton of them. They just don't care.
Criminals don't care about laws.
They never have. They never will.
That's right. That's right.
So if you want to make a gun law, why not just make murder fucking illegal? Oh, wait, it already is, but they're breaking that law. And that's supposedly the fucking most punishable fucking law that you made, life.
It's just people are fucking stupid. Like Saudi Arabia, right? You're in Saudi Arabia, you get caught drunk driving. You know what the penalty is for that?
I don't know. They cut your head off. I don't fucking
That's exactly it. Yes.
There you go.
And people still drive drunk.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop it. Human nature. I mean, humans are stupid.
Yeah.
A person is smart. People are stupid.
Well, and that's just it. Like, and the shit they say about motorcycle clubs. It's like, oh, we pass our women around. What are you talking about?
Somebody tried to tell me that about our club when I first came around.
Did they?
Oh yeah. They said, all those stars that the women have for their tattoo, that designates that they've been passed around between the club members. And I'm like, well, I've been around these guys for a minute here, just kind of hanging out, a little, and I don't fucking see no signs of that. And now 8 years later, as a patch member, and it ain't happening, brother.
And it's how many times do people think that we're all fighting each other?
Mm-hmm. Oh, biker.
We're all at war. We're all fucking whatever. It's like, dude, most of us are just trying to do our own thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why we keep harping on it is because fucking stupid bitches like this fucking cunt from fucking Nat Geo go on the world's biggest fucking podcast in the fucking world and fucking start spewing the same bullshit that's been regurgitated for the past fucking 5 or 6 decades. And then they bring up, Joe Rogan brings up this fucking that fucking guy, the fucking Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas guy.
Oh yeah, Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter S. Thompson had that fucking he made a book about him and the Hells Angels and yada 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 and how crazy it was. That was fucking 50 years ago.
Did you ever read the book?
Changed a little bit, Joe.
Did you ever read the book?
No.
It's an interesting read. It really is, because everybody, they say they know about it. They say, oh, Hunter wrote this and Hunter did that. Yeah, he was somewhat embedded with the Hells Angels. He was just an asshole idiot partying with them. That's all. And he ended up getting a literal shit beaten out of him at the end of the book.
Well, and that's just it. Was he a good writer, Hunter S. Thompson? Absolutely. The guy
journalism, man. I love his prose. It's great.
And he openly, admittedly bent truth to make it more entertaining.
Isn't that what they do? Bend the truth?
Oh, they all do that.
Yeah.
But what bothers me is Hunter S. Thompson would say, yeah, I embellished. I made some shit up. I was, doing, 8 balls of cocaine and eating mushrooms at the time and had 2 bottles of Jack Daniels. And
that was his breakfast,
I get it.
For Christ's sake.
Right, exactly. The guy was an animal.
Yeah.
But you get this fucking bitch talking about, oh, no, this is what happened. Oh, no, it's 100% true. No, it's not. We see you do it. And then she's like, oh, people online will say that I'm lying. Yeah, because we know the truth, bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck. But you know what? It doesn't really matter.
In the long scheme of things, no, it doesn't.
Nope, because as long as Nat Geo gets those ratings and motherfuckers watch the goddamn programs, and here we are even promoting it by talking about it. Who gives a fuck? It's content.
Yeah.
So
content.
Let's talk about terminology that's found on the internet.
Oh, I want to hear fucking making fun of me, because
I love the terminology.
You just love to fucking tank on me. Oh, hey. Oh, by the way, real quick, I was going to say, you know, I went down to the Keys, right?
Yeah.
I told you there's an island down there called Tanks Island, down off of Key West.
Yeah.
There you go. I got an island.
There you go. Well,
we got a place to visit.
You and Epstein.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. I don't know about that. No, Epstein, I think, had a little more fun than I did.
Yeah. You might want to say right now publicly that you would never kill yourself, just to be clear. That you would never kill yourself or commit suicide in any way, shape, or form.
Brother, you know what I went through medically. If I was going to kill myself, I would have offed myself through that shit. So,
well, Epstein didn't kill himself either, but that's what we all believe, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
He did not kill himself, no. But I tell you what, real quick about the Keys, though. When everybody thinks about the Keys, they think about Key West, right? You look at it on the map and you see like this road, you know, that goes down to Key West.
Yeah.
It's real hard to get lost down there. It's like,
well, there's one road.
One road, and there's water on either side of it, you know, with just a little bit of land, you know, here and there. I mean, yeah, it opens up in some space, you know, some areas where there's probably a mile wide or so. But you can't get lost because it's real easy, right? You know, what are you looking at? I'm looking at water. Well, turn around, fucking Route 1's right behind you.
Yeah.
It's real simple. Where are you going? Well, I'm going northeast. Okay, well, there you go. You're gonna go towards Miami. Where are you going?
Did you have any Cuban coffee while you were down there?
I did not. No.
I hear that shit's like fucking weapon grade coffee.
That's what I hear. But there was a Dunkin' Donuts right near us. I'm a Dunkies fan. When I see their coffee,
Dunkin's got some good coffee. You know what? I'll tell you this right now. I would put Dunkin' Donuts coffee above Starbucks any day of the week.
I hate Starbucks. That Pike's Place bullshit. It's too bitter.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's like, wow, you guys waited in line for this shit?
Yeah. Tim Hortons. Now, if you get up in Northern America, like
the old Canada there, eh?
Canada, and you'll find them in Vermont. You'll find them in upstate New York and stuff too.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to this. We're just shooting this, you know,
going around. So Tim Hortons, good coffee or bad coffee?
Good coffee.
All right, Tim Hortons.
And you got to get
First of all, if Tim Hortons, if you're listening, and we know you are, we could use a sponsorship of your coffee.
We could definitely. That's 3 now. 3.
That's right.
But you know, like we've prided ourselves on being content creators, and truly we have been creators. The aspect is how many times is this episode 131? I think we're doing here.
Yep.
And how many different times have we brought up subject matter, and then sure as fucking shit smells, 2-3 weeks later we're seeing it reflected on other people's podcasts and shows.
It's usually a couple days or a week later.
Sometimes it's the next day after we release. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
And we actually know those people. So I was like, you know what? We haven't talked about biker slang, because we've touched on it here and there. Like we've talked about, like, you know, the prospect, your probate, or a striker. You know, that's the Canadian European term for
striker.
Probate. Striker, yes, sir.
What is a striker? I've never heard this term.
Probate or a prospect. It's also called a striker. So the more you know.
I didn't know that. Never even heard it before.
So I'm going to check out, you know, I'm going to go on you Googleize it here and go on the old Google machine and check it out. And I was like, look up some biker slang. So I get up and it's called The Manual, meaning I guess it's like the manual on biker slang. So I'm going through and like big twin. Okay, see if you find any controversy with this. A big twin, any large displacement Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson being the only big twin out there by their estimations, which is bullshit. Yeah.
I could see kinda. And the only reason I say that is Harley Davidson's known for having twins only. And they usually only make 2 different types of engines.
Mm-hmm.
Your big twin, like your shovels, your pans, your twin cams, your Evos, whatever, your Milwaukee 8s, and they make a sporty engine.
Yeah.
Now they got this. What's the new one called? The the fucking the
The
one that's
Pan American.
Yeah, what's that engine called? It's like the Revolution or something like that.
It is. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, the Revolution. Yeah.
So I could see where, like, if you had a Victory, you wouldn't say, yeah, it's got a big twin in it, because Victory only made one, or Indian only makes the one. You know, now
Well,
Indian's kind of weird because they now
Victory's had
have that.
three motors. They've had three motors.
Who's that? Polaris?
Victory, Polaris.
Yeah.
They start out with the V92C and then the Freedom 100 and then the Freedom 106. But now they ventured into Thunderstroke 111 and then the Thunderstroke 116. But it's basically, what's that? Those are Indians, but it's Polaris.
Well, don't they have that one that they put in the Scout?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Then they got one that they put in the Chieftain.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't the same engine.
I think one was a 111, one was a 116.
Right. But it's still a big inch fucking twin cam. And they really don't make a small like an 883 or a 1200.
Yeah. I mean, even a Harley.
So I kind of get it.
But even a Sportster. I mean, it's an 883. It's not a small motor. I mean, it's small in comparison to what we ride, but
it's not a 600 fucking cc Roadster,
right,
or a fucking 750 Shadow,
or
a 1000 cc Shadow for that matter.
Yeah, well, back in the day, back in the 70s, somebody had a 1000 cc motorcycle, man, like, ooh, you got a big bike, wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had your KZ 1000, your GS 1000, your fucking Honda. Oh fuck, they had. Trying to remember the name of that 6-cylinder that they made. I think they made it for like 2 years. I think like 78 or 79 and 80 or whatever. It was a 6-cylinder inline 6.
Okay.
Jay Leno's had one. He made a fucking Google it.
Yeah, they only made a few of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, they probably made like 1 million because it's fucking Honda.
Well, yeah, but they didn't sell them here in America. Not many of them. That's what makes them famous.
It's like Royal Enfield makes a shit ton of fucking motorcycles, but most of them are in fucking India and they don't go over 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of look like the old Nortons in styling, kind of when I see an Enfield, I do a double take. Is that a Norton? No, it's just an Enfield. All right, so bullet bike. You ever heard of a bullet bike?
No. What's a bullet bike?
An outsider's term for a sport bike.
Really?
Often used by media and non-riders to get attention.
What country is this from?
It says this is worldwide here.
Worldwide.
So that's why they're the manual for motorcycling in the world.
We call them crotch rockets here in the States.
So here's the usage, though. I'm going to go get some speeding tickets and maybe crash my bullet bike. Have you ever heard somebody say that?
Typically we don't
talk about crashing.
Go get tickets and crash.
Yeah, it's like the two unspoken things.
Usually you try to avoid those two situations.
Yeah,
that's usually not the plan.
A lot of this that I'm reading, that like the usage is funny. Whoever wrote this must have been smoking some pretty good Chiba. Cager, we know what that is. Usually motorcycle slang usage.
Yep.
Idiot
cager cars. Yep.
You nearly ran me off the road. Now CB, people think of Citizens Band Radio, but no. Motorcycling world, CB is the ubiquitous Honda CB 750, and you got to admit that revolutionized motorcycling world. Came out in what, 69, I think it was, or 68 when they released the first one.
I don't remember the first CB.
It says
it could have been. Yeah, I want
68.
It was the overhead valve version. Yeah, something like that.
You had one.
My first bike was a CB 750, but it was a 78, so it was the overhead cam. But
that's like
we had a generation before that.
Well, yeah, a lot of guys like those older ones, but that 78 overhead cam CB 750 now is like there's a whole cottage industry based on that.
Well, I mean, the first super bike really that still to this day could hang with newer bikes was the Kawasaki H2, which was a 2-stroke 900.
Yep.
That thing was fucking ridiculous.
It was so light too, very nimble to handle. But here we are, whole thing on CB 750, most iconic of all Honda models, introduced in 69. Okay,
I would agree that it changed the game.
Yeah,
performance, for everything. CB 750. It made everybody take notice because Kawasaki's always came up with crazy bikes, but they were never really practical, and they didn't make a whole lot of them, and they were kind of maintenance whores and whatever, right? Kawasaki just does crazy shit, but Honda, they make cookie cutter fucking everyman fucking bikes, and they give you just enough performance where you're happy, but it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and it probably won't fucking die within the first 6 months of you owning it.
Well, what you're referencing to, you're making reference to here is the 70s and early 80s, that it literally caused Harley to go to Congress and pass that tariff law saying, hey, no, we're the big dogs on the big displacement motorcycles here.
Yeah.
You know, anything over 700 cc's. And
I think it was anything over anything over 1,000, wasn't it?
No, it was 700, 7 or 750. Man, somebody, I don't know, look it up and tell us. I believe it was 7 or 750. Either way, Harley was the big proponent to get that into place. 3 years later, they were the ones that wanted it taken off because it started hurting them too.
Yeah, because they couldn't import bikes that they were building overseas without
that's right.
Eating shit with taxes. It's like,
yep, their own tariff laws.
Quit fucking crying to Ronald Reagan to fucking change shit for you.
Yeah, here's an idea: like, get out of the 1930s with your engineering, you know, because literally they were. I mean, they stood still for a long time.
1980s performance with 2023 prices.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's what they are now. Cog. Have you ever heard of a biker slang for cog?
I know what a cog is, but no.
Slang for the gears and the transmission. Never heard of it. Here's the usage. Check out my new Harley. It's got the new 103 engine and 6 cogs in the box.
Okay.
Who fucking writes this shit? Oh, here's my favorite. We know all this. I see a guy that has this one of these patches on, and I make all sorts of assumptions about him immediately in my head. It's a big one. Dilligaff. Yeah, you see somebody with that Dilligaff thing, and it's probably the #1 sold flash patch out there.
Oh yeah.
And for those who are not in the know, it means, do I look like I give a fuck? And actually, usually the guys that wear those probably do.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah.
If you see that patch, the answer is yes. They do give a fuck.
Yeah. I'm looking. Okay. Enduro fairing Farkle. Here's a word I've been reading about and studying. So have you, motorcycles, since we were kids. I have never heard the term Farkle.
Isn't that a place in North Dakota?
Could be. I don't know. Sounds like Farkle. Sounds like something in England. Farkle, England. Let's see. It's for the gear you've added or want to add to your bike. Useless gear. So it's like the chrome gewgaws and shit are considered Farkle.
Like Broglow or something.
Yeah.
Tassels.
Yeah. I took mine off.
God, that's a good fuck. I hope that trend never comes back.
Oh my God, yeah. The thing about them, though, I mean, my Softail, it came with them, and I rode around with them for a couple of years. But I stopped because I would get all these whips up my arms from the leather, and I literally would have like welts and shit from it, from the wind whacking and whipping up into my forearms.
Yep.
Fool's gear. You ever heard of fool's gear?
Nope.
I guess that's when we don't wear the correct safety gear.
Really? So what would be an example of fool's gear?
Fool's gear would be you're wearing t-shirt, shorts, and sandals and no helmet. So you're wearing fool's gear. Now, I laugh at the guys in shorts and sandals too. Because usually those are the guys that have the helmet on.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know?
Got to protect the one thing you're not using.
But there's a guy in our area, some pharmacist or whatever, long hair, famously rides around like a fucking thumb.
Dude,
that's it.
Talked to him. I talked to him not too long ago at a bar, trying to get him to come on. He wasn't about it. He wants nothing to do with the internet.
I don't believe
him. He'll ride around in a Speedo.
Oh, yeah.
Barefoot, no shirt, just a Speedo, just out there bombing on his fucking Dyna.
He's a cool dude. Lives in our area, man.
Dude. So last weekend is when I talked to him.
Yeah.
This guy, it was fuck, 20-something degrees maybe. This guy is wearing leather motorcycle jacket, t-shirt, spandex shorts. That's it. No shoes, no socks. Spandex shorts, leather motorcycle jacket, t-shirt. That's it. Just enough where he could walk into a bar.
Yeah, because you don't need shoes to walk into a bar in Wisconsin, folks.
Now, hold on. I also seen this guy at the grocery store about a month ago. And he wears these like half a sock things that cover his toes and the bottom of his feet, and that's it. This dude lives his life just like that. He's like a nudist in public. He covers up the parts that'll get him arrested. Other than that, he doesn't wear it.
I wonder what he wears at work, because he's like a pharmacist by
I don't
trade.
think he has a job.
Well, he used to be a pharmacist.
He might be a street pharmacist these days.
Well, I know back in the day he was a pharmacist. But he's a cool dude anyway. I mean, he's famous on the internet.
Yeah, he's super chill.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, obviously, the guy's got hair down to his ass. He's probably in his 60s, and he's super chill. I kind of wonder what keeps him in Wisconsin. It's like, dude, your lifestyle says you should probably live in like California, because
Or the Keys.
somewhere where there's a warm climate. I mean,
You would think, right?
how does he shovel his driveway?
I don't know.
I mean, his homeboy out there and fucking barefoot trying to shovel. I mean, you're gonna get frostbite, my friend.
Mm.
Fuck.
So this is one of my bucket list items.
All right, go ahead.
I've always wanted to go to the Isle of Man to see the time
Isle of
trial.
Man.
Isle of
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
to see the time trials, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's the IOMTT, the Isle of Man time trials. It's a famous race.
Sure.
Here they have it listed as the tourist trophy race. Never heard that.
Never heard of that.
My whole life it's been the time trials.
Well, not everybody's smart on the internet.
Well, that's true.
Present company included. Myself included.
No.
People watching this included.
Yeah, everybody, man.
We all say dumb shit, man.
Albert Einstein said, "Every man is my equal, and that I may learn from him."
Yep.
Maybe superior. I don't know. Either way. Katoom. Have you ever heard of Katoom?
Nope.
Katoom. I guess that's slang for the KTM motorcycle. So
That's got to be a British thing, because there's some dirt bike dudes that have KTMs over here, and they're mixed reviews. Some dudes love them, some dudes hate them. It is what it is.
all right. Kit.
Oh.
KIT. A Britishism and general term for gear that's catching on in the US. Usage. Did you see Bob's new Panniers? That's some nice kit. Which brings up
That's kind of a military term. They would call, whatever they're using kit, like plate carriers and, optics or whatever. It's my kit.
Well, it's an old sales term too. For salesmen. Yeah. A salesman would have what's called a sit. And at the sit, they do a kit. The kit is their presentation. They're the deal that they talk about to talk about their product.
Right.
KLR, Laguna Leathers, long way around. Yeah. Magic Button. Ha! You ever heard of Magic Button? Well, I mean,
motorcycles or girls?
I was going to say, the Magic Button to me has always been finding that elusive G spot. Once you can hit that magic button, ooh,
doesn't exist.
Boy, it's there. Every now and then I have hit the wife's, Anyway.
It's your story, you tell it however you want.
Magic Button. Slang for the starter button. Apparently, for decades now, motorcyclists were kickstart-only machines. Well, we knew that. While they weren't first by a long time, Honda made electric starting commonplace. Usage. I'll never forget that 1973 Honda CB450 I had. It was the first bike I owned that had the magic button.
Okay.
The magic button.
Maybe that was slang back in the day in Europe.
It could be, motard. We know what a motard is, right?
Yeah, we know what a motard is.
Well, we know what a retard is, but a motard motorcycle.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a bike that sits up real high and it's been stripped. A lot of time you see them use them in trials, stuff like that.
Yep. Or you take an enduro and put street tires on it.
Yeah, yeah. Enduro, you don't hear, now it's what do they call them? They're the multi, I don't know, the touring, not the touring, the adventure bikes.
Well, yeah, you have adventure bikes. They're usually a bigger off-roady type bike, and they have like on-off-road tires. And Pan America, perfect example. That's an adventure bike.
Yep.
And a motard would be like a 250 trial bike with lights and street tires and a license plate, yada yada yada. Motard. Because you can do dumb shit on the road with it.
Well, I can do dumb shit on the road with any motorcycle.
No, exactly. And every bike's an off-road bike if you point it in the right direction.
That's correct. Yeah. OFR.
Nope.
Only fool riding. We have been OFRs many times.
Have we now?
That's when you're riding in that weather that's either so cold, so wet, so windy, tornadic, and we've ridden in all of those things, and we are the only fools riding on the road.
Well, I mean, how many times have you been on social media, some Facebook page or whatever, where there's some asshole out there talking about, I still didn't put my bike away, and there's fucking snow on the ground, and it's 10 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, way to go.
Yeah.
You prove that you're willing to make yourself extremely uncomfortable to impress people you don't know.
And
congratulations.
And you prove you really don't care about your bike.
Well,
you're getting all that fucking road salt on that. Unless you rinse that fucker off and clean it and then air dry it.
Which you're not doing.
Which you're not doing. Yeah.
Oh, there was some guy up north who was showing off his some Evo Sporty that he had a fucking studded tire on and whatever. He's like, I ride year round, yada yada yada. I'm like, yeah, why? Because you go to the bar a mile from your house? Way to go, dude. I don't have an old beat shit fucking Sporty that I'm gonna ride for an hour in the middle of January.
Yeah,
because I got a truck and I don't need that. I don't need those cool points, man. I do other cool shit.
Now, I did know that Hell's Angel, who was the head of snowmaking at the ski mountain that I worked at in Vermont, and he rode year round. I remember seeing him many times, riding up and down the mountain on that thing, with his feet out for skis. There are those guys. There are.
Well, yeah, and that's the only thing they own that had power.
Yeah.
It's the only vehicle they had was that motorcycle.
Well, and then there are some chapters of some, pretty hardcore motorcycle clubs that if you're going to prospect for them, when you're prospecting, you only ride a motorcycle. You don't cage it unless somebody tells you to cage it. That's like what you get around on your bike.
Yeah, I mean, there's those guys out there, but they're not bragging on social media every 5 fucking minutes that they're doing it.
Yeah, well, it's
you know what I mean. They're not out there fucking trying to fucking throw shade at somebody because they're fucking riding and the other person's not. They're just doing their thing.
Well, largely.
I mean, look at BMW guys.
Yeah,
BMW guys ride year round. Them motherfuckers are crazy as shit.
I agree. Yes.
Nobody's more hardcore than a BMW rider.
No, you won't get an argument out of me. No, and their machines. They when you get them running right, they run like fucking beautiful. I mean,
yeah, BMW might make the best fucking running motorcycle.
I think they could, but when it breaks, it's also probably one of the most expensive ones to put into the shop. And
they will nickel and dime the ever loving fuck out of you.
Yeah, they sure will.
You think Harley's expensive when it breaks?
Oh yeah, no shit. So we talked earlier. I'd said pannier. A lot of people they think of the saddlebags, but pannier is that European. I guess it's pannier is a French term, but that's for saddlebags. They're called panniers. However, on Harley, the new Harley Pan American, they call them panniers on that. So, yeah, usually hardbag.
The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Now, here's an old school term for a bike that always kind of makes that freaking 12-year-old kid inside me giggle every time I hear it. You know what I'm going to say? The word is petcock.
I know what a petcock is. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you how to do it too. So, yeah, everybody knows how to petcock. I mean, most guys do. But I'm just saying, it's one of those one of those terms that's used that I kind of giggle every time inside. Petcock. Like, I'm 60 years old. I still fucking feel like a 12-year-old sometimes. But
fun fact: if we were monetized on YouTube, we'd get a strike for saying petcock.
yes, we would. Petcock, petcock, petcock. Fuck you.
Yep.
Pillion, the pillion seat.
What's a pillion seat?
A pillion seat is that you've seen them. Some guy have a single riding motorcycle, and then he's got a clear rear fender, and it's that little seat that you can take and then plop down. It's got like little rubber pads on it that somebody can sit on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So just a tiny rear seat's called the pillion.
Called a muff pad, don't they?
Yeah. Quadrophenia.
That sounds dirty.
You know all about quadrophenia. About the mods and the rockers. The rock group The Who in the 1970s had this album that came out. They did a whole album and a movie and everything called Quadrophenia. Highly recommended. Talks about the mods and rockers. Sting is in it. Sting back in the day when he was going by his regular name, Gordon Sumner. He was a mod. He was like the king of the mods. But great soundtrack, great movie. If you ever get to see Quadrophenia, highly recommended. Let's see, rat bike. We know what a rat bike is. Ring ding.
No idea.
Yeah, it's not the shit made by Hostess. I guess it's slang for a 2-stroke motorcycle.
Really? Well, I guess I can see that. It does kind of make that noise.
It does make that.
Yeah,
that ringing noise. Road rash. Yeah. Rocker. Okay. Rubbie. Here, it's not a rub, but they're calling it a Rubbie here. Now, going back to the petcock thing, I don't think we know what a Rubbie is. But anyway, Rubbie, pronounced Rubbie, not Ruby, not used. It's a somewhat derogatory slang for rich urban biker, which we just call rubs.
Well, I suppose rubs be rubbing.
So usage. Paul said he has to wax his Porsche, so he can't ride today. He's such a Rubbie. Who writes this?
Oh, okay. I don't know. What is this website?
It's called FromTheManual.com. Get up to speed with biker slang. So FromTheManual.com. So skins, slang for tires. Yeah, I've heard that before. Usually I call them shoes, but
Yeah, skins. Yeah, it makes sense.
We all know. Well, we know what a squid is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we meet them all the time.
Why is it called the squid? Does it tell you?
Yeah, it does actually.
Go ahead.
All right, squids, mocking term for sport bike riders who are long on talk and short on skill. They typically don't wear safety gear when riding. The term comes from what happens when said idiot piles his hyperbike into the back of a dump truck while showing up for the ladies, breaking every bone in his body. Thus, a body with like a boneless squid. Usage. Whoa, did you just see that idiot ride by wearing shorts and no helmet? Enjoy the road rash, squid.
Well, I have had multiple arguments about this very term.
Okay.
Because I happen to be old enough where I know where that term came from and why they call people squids. So, everybody who's been an inexperienced fucking biker, especially on a crotch rocket sport bike, what do? They leave their feet down way too long to get going. Now, why is it sport bike specific? Because sport bikes traditionally sit up higher.
Mm-hmm.
So when guys would leave, they dangle their feet like all the way across the intersection because they were kind of still scared. Oh, I might tip over and I'm going to have to catch myself. And you look like a squid with your tentacles dangling in the fucking wind because you're leaving stoplights and stop signs and shit. Yep. That's where the term came from. This whole gear thing, that's recent.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably within the past, I don't know, 10 years or so. Because now everybody's all about helmets and shit, which is kind of, whatever. I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, because back in the day, you were a dork if you had a helmet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I say back in the day, I mean 20 years ago, back in the day.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like in the 80s like it used to me. To me, that was a fucking long time ago now.
20 years ago was 2000, man.
I know.
2003, if you want to get specific.
I was already old then.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to get there.
So I guess back in the day there was a term called the ton.
Yep.
Yeah, which
100 miles an hour.
Yeah, 100 miles an hour. That's back in the day when you didn't have a bike that went over 80. This is the last.
Everybody, that's where the whole rocker phrase came from, doing the ton.
Yeah,
And that's where cafe racers came from.
yeah, that's right.
Because you would race from cafe to cafe.
That's right.
And then when you got to a cafe, they'd play a record. And you'd have to, do a mile or circle a mile or whatever the fuck it was. And you have to get back before the song was over.
Yeah.
And if your bike could do the ton, that meant it could go 100 miles an hour, which you're talking about your Norton Black Shadows. You're talking about your Triumph.
The Bonneville.
Yeah, your Bonnevilles, your
Yeah,
trying to think of the BSAs.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. BSA Triumph, kind of the same fucking bike.
BSA. Wouldn't you love to have an old BSA?
Not really.
No, I would just for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, every motorcycle would be cool to have,
Well, and that's very true. I want to own all of them, but I don't know. An old, they've got an interesting story behind them,
Yeah. They also made fucking guns. So.
Well, BSA, Birmingham Short Arms, that happened to make motorcycles too. But I mean, you get a BSA chopper, it'd be kind of I would look like a fucking large gorilla on a scooter.
Yeah, Triumphs, BSAs, I like the way they look. I just don't want to own one.
Yeah.
They're just, I don't know. They're just, I don't know. Just not my thing, I guess.
Triumphs, they do have a weird look to them because they got the inline twin.
So the BSAs.
Yeah, so the BSAs. I don't know. I'm a little older.
So the Yamaha X650s.
I had an XS 850 special. Yeah, it was an inline triple.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a good bike. Tiddler. Have you ever heard of a Tiddler? It must be more of a British thing. Somewhat derogatory term meaning small bike or beginner bike. So typically street bikes under 250 cc's. Who would want to ride a bike under 250 cc's for fuck's sake? I mean, on the street, around town,
Trying to think of the smallest. I mean, you're in moped territory after that.
Yeah.
And the only, a Buell Blast. There's a 250 Buell Blast. There's
Honda Rebels probably, and then the Ninja are the most famous.
Well, the Rebels, what, a 250?
250. They've got a 500 cc one now.
Yeah.
And the Ninja 250.
Did they make a Ninja 250 or was it?
Oh yeah. Oh no, they make a 250. But usage, my friend wanted to get a Gixxer for his first bike, but I don't want him to die, so I told him to learn on a Tiddler. Yeah. What people don't realize too, over in England, when you first get your motorcycle license, you can't just go out and buy a big motorcycle in England, in Great Britain, and get on it and start out as a beginner. You got to work your way up to it because they have different stages of licenses that you can buy. Yeah. Yeah. A guy. The more you know. A guy I knew through the Star Riders. There was had a group called the Pegasus Riders out of Great Britain, and he not to be confused with the Pegasus Riders in Janesville, but yeah, the Pegasus. So the more you know, but it's just the long and short of it is, man, is that there's a lot of people making bank and causing a big to do with terminology that fucking doesn't even I wouldn't say belong, but we don't even hear it in the motorcycling world.
Well, that and I'm sure it's different in every type of country. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that guys in Russia who ride motorcycles use different terminologies than guys in Montana.
But biker culture started in America.
Well, to a certain extent, yeah. I mean,
in terms of motorcycle clubs and that type of deal.
that is true. I mean, motorcycle clubs 100% came out of America.
Our
As far as the way
lifestyle.
we structure ourselves and,
Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, well, the first motorcycle club started out a bicycle club, and I think it was somewhere in the UK or something like that. And I mean, you can go way back, but I mean, as far as what you consider motorcycle clubs in today's day and age, it came out of America. More specifically, it came out of Southern California.
Mm. Well,
or New York, depending upon who you want to believe.
One of the oldest motorcycle clubs is out of New York City.
Yeah, the
Yonkers
yep.
Motorcycle Club. Yep. And also one of the oldest motorcycle clubs as well is the Motor Maids, the fucking women, man.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, motorcycles, as soon as they were invented, guys were joining clubs, either like a racing club or just a touring club or whatever.
Yeah. A friend of mine in Beloit, her dad was in the Beloit Motorcycle Club.
Yeah.
Back in the day, she's got his old motorcycle jacket, which actually wasn't a vest; it was a duster.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she can remember her dad. Like he was a machinist, and he rode that bike to work every day. But he was also a hill climber. The Rockford Hill Climbers are still a club that's in existence today, and she remembers him changing the wheels out, to bring it down, then do the hill climbing, and then on Sunday night at the end of the day, changing the wheels back out again so he can go back and forth to work on that thing.
I worked with a guy that had a Yamaha Virago and rode it all year round.
Virago. The Virago was one of the first ones that broke the tariff barriers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say a lot of them say it was styled against a Sportster. I don't think so. I think the angle of the tank was pretty steep.
It was sort of that whole Japan likes to do like the Honda Fury.
Yeah.
They kind of make this bike that looks like it could be kind of a chopper, but not really. They kind of they copy what's hot in America, because let's be honest, America is the world's
trendsetter,
especially when it comes to motorcycles and cars.
Yes, very much so.
Like the rockers of the UK kind of were copying what was going on in America.
Mm-hmm.
The mods were goofy fucks on tricked out mopeds.
Yeah, with a lot of mirrors and lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. Well, I think we beat a dead horse pretty good. Don't you think so, brother?
Oh, yeah, nobody's listening anymore.
We say that, but they do. And lately
maybe not this episode.
You never know. We've put out utter garbage before going, ain't nobody gonna listen to that, and then we get some of the best fan mail from people.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it started out with me bitching about, assholes at the range, and then I go on a tangent about some fucking Portuguese girl that's making fucking Nat Geo fucking videos, still spewing bullshit. And
she lose a little weight, she'd be a hot looking mama.
She's
a little big in the caboose,
Some people like that.
That's that Latina thing, they like that. They like that.
And it's my whole point to the whole thing, and I know the terminology kind of kicks off, or kind of is in that space too. Is like, it's not always legit when you hear it. You know what I mean? Like, this chick is making these shows, and they're on, a major cable network, Nat Geo. Everybody knows Nat Geo, National Geographic Channel. It's not real. It's counterfeit. They're lying to you.
Well, and they're using the name of Nat Geo to get implied credibility.
Right. Nat Geo don't give a shit. As long as people watch it, they'll put it up.
Yeah.
It's like TLC, the channel TLC. They have shows like My 600-Pound Life, Honey Boo Boo bullshit. Yeah, fucking
the Learning Channel. Yeah.
Yeah. The Learning Channel. What am I learning about fat people? What am I learning? A&E. They had Duck Dynasty. They had Dog the Bounty Hunter type shit.
Yeah. Arts and entertainment. Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Home box office,
Huh?
Home box office, Do they
Yeah.
even watch movies on there anymore? You know, MTV, you know, music television. Are you sure? You know, but we're talking about money here. You know, you
Well, you're
clickbait.
talking about traditional media.
Yeah,
That's why the internet took over, because people were like, I don't want to see what I'm watching.
yeah.
You know, and now you got a bajillion different streaming services. What do you got? You got Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. Everybody's got a plus and a streaming channel, and you got like 10 subscriptions for $8 a month to watch this one fucking show 6 weeks out of the fucking year.
Yeah, Netflix took care of that though. You don't have to watch the show anymore. Just wait for it to hit Netflix and then binge watch the fucker on a weekend.
Or Hulu.
Or Hulu. Voodoo. I like Voodoo. My Voodoo is good because it takes
Yep.
the commercials out for you.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, all of it. You know, I don't
Pluto,
know.
if you're broke. That's a free one.
It's free. Actually, there's a lot of good stuff on there, you know.
Plutos, the Voodos, the Hulus, all the weird names.
I find myself on Pluto more often than not. Tosh.0 has his own channel on there.
And who can forget the old Roku?
Oh, well, yeah, gotta love Roku. I got 2 Roku TVs.
Is that guy still putting our videos up on his channel on Roku?
I haven't checked, you know. I think I'm gonna go and check after we get off on this. I'm curious about that. Yeah, he's made some money off of us, that's for sure.
Well, as long as we can help out the less fortunate.
Well, there you go. Yeah, maybe his wife can get out of that gas station job. Oh, is that out loud? I'm sorry.
Everybody needs to make a living.
Well, that's very true. World needs diggers too. Oh well, brother. I'm going to call it quits
We're all
here.
working for an honest day's wage.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Well, it's been nice.
It's been fun.
It sure has, hasn't it? Loads of fun. Hopefully, we took care of some people's needs to hear us talk again. You know, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get some more guests back on. We've been kind of lacking.
Yeah. Actually, I got the 2 boys there from the West Coast Florida Riders want to get back on.
Sure. Yeah, Daytona's coming up, man. They got to talk about Daytona.
And here's another really cool thing, actually. I interviewed that author, Dutch Van Alsten.
Yeah.
And he wrote those 4 books behind Bars series.
Sure.
It all takes place here in this area. But I just finished his last book, and the protagonist, the inspiration for that book, I actually interviewed on the show last year.
Really?
Yeah. She's the one chick that did the did the world record thing. Well, she was the inspiration for the protagonist in this book. And so a couple things came up in the book, right? So I go and text the author. He's a friend of mine. Hey man, you clever motherfucker, you did this, and this, you know. And I thought to myself when I was going down to that the event that I went to last night, and I'm like, how cool is that in this day and age? You know, I know the author, I know the person who's the inspiration for the book. You know, I speak to him socially. I'm reading the book. We had him on the podcast show. I mean, it's pretty fucking cool.
Hey,
it's pretty
small
fucking
world.
Cool. Yeah, apparently it is. And the biker culture is even smaller. Yeah, you know that, brother.
Yep.
All right, I'll say the words. Everybody, the most dangerous part. Motorcycles and up connects the seat to the handlebars. Farkle, go Tiddler yourself out and Farkle all day long. I don't know what the fuck you want to do. Later.
Tank has a sex island.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. Peace.